This an Apple TV series created by Dan Erickson.
Directed by Ben Stiller.
Yes,
But Ben Stiller, who played the sensitive awkward kid who's got his sensitive part of his skin caught in a zipper in the 1998 comedy There's Something About Mary.
remember him now. He has transitioned himself from comedy acting to directing, and he does a good job of it with this series. The aesthetics of this series is based on 1970s and 80s period, at the time of birth of personal computers.
You can see that in the chunky cathode ray tube type of computer monitors, clunky keyboards, and low-resolution font display. The car, the theme song, which is inspired by 1970s band Pink Floyd, and even hairstyle are similar to that era. Look at the hairstyle of Steve Jobs, the father of Apple Computer,
Taken
during that time. Now look at our protagonist Mark Scout, played by Adam Scott. I suspect the similarity in their looks is more than coincidental.
This photo from the 1980s shows Steve Jobs giving IBM the middle finger. If Mark Scout is Steve Jobs, then Lumen would represent IBM. When the Apple PC was built in a garage, Steve Jobs thought of himself as David, and the giant IBM is Goliath in the battle for PC market in the 1980s. These are 6 types of memory scientists identified today. When I read a book on memory in the 1990s, only top 3 memories were identified.
So I will ignore the rest.
We're not trying to be shrinks here.
Firstly, procedural memories helps you to learn and remember skills like tying your shoelaces, driving a car, typing on a keyboard, etc., sometimes called the muscle memory. Declarative memories is responsible for remembering general facts like an elephant is an animal with 4 legs and a very long nose and large flappy ears, or the names of different states of America, etc. Lastly, episodic memories store experiences or facts that's specific to you and no one else, such as the color of your mother's eyes, your name, your date of birth, your school playground experiences, etc.
Episodic memory therefore define who you are from everyone else. Clearly, what Severance procedure does is suppressing or blocking only the episode memory. The Severance procedure involves inserting a microchip into the brain. The employees of Lumen who undergo Severance procedure cannot access their episodic memory during their 9 to 5 working hours. After work, their normal episodic memories are restored, but the person with the brain implant isn't able to access episodic memories of both work and outside work lives simultaneously. Let's talk about belly buttons.
Why not, right? There are 2 different types of belly buttons or navels, which is called in-ear or out-ear, depending if they stick out or sunken.
Belly button is like the socket where the fetus connects to his or her mother by a cable called the umbilical cord.
During delivery, the umbilical cord is severed to separate the mother and child.
In this series, when an innie undergoes the severance procedure, a set of new and separate memories is born,
and it's called an outie.
You could say an outie is the child of innie. Each person therefore takes on multiple layers of identities or lives.
The outie who arrives at Lumen on the first day is like a newborn baby with no new episodic memory at all.
In the opening scene of this whole TV series, appropriately, shows Helly's first moments in Lumen where she crawls like a baby on a conference table. This is the moment soon after her metaphorical umbilical cord is severed, and she's now a brand new outie. 5 questions were posed to her. For question 3, she was asked to name any US state, for which she answered Delaware.
That's a correct answer.
Only question 3 relies on declarative memories that store facts like geography is still intact.
With her episodic memories being blocked, she cannot answer the rest of the 4 questions.
Question 4. What is Mr. Egan's favorite breakfast?
That one makes no sense.
Right? Unknown.
That question seems to make no sense to us or Hurley at the time. But if you finished watching the season 1, you realize that question makes perfect sense for confirming her inaccessibility of her innie's episodic memory.
The next major development stage of our lives after birth is of course schooling.
And Lumen is nice enough to provide that in the form of office work environment.
In the case of our four major protagonists, they are assigned to the MDR, or Microdata Refinement Department. The Aukti in MDR is certainly being treated like school children, with rewards like food and toys like Chinese finger traps when they complete their job successfully, much like teachers giving gold stars or other such cheap but symbolic rewards to students. In schools, if you break the rule, especially severe one, you will be sent to principal's office. In MDR, you will be sent to the break room and are forced to repeat apologies until they're convinced that you are sorry. Break room doesn't mean place to take a break, but place for breaking your spirit.
If you are a Simpsons fan, you will be familiar with that form of punishment. Helly has to repeat the apologies for, was it 750 times?
Before she could leave the break room. So Bart Simpson actually has it easy. In this series, Harmony Coble fits the shoe of a strict school principal or headmistress nicely.
And Miss Casey is wellness counselor, which of course plays the counterpart of school counselor, who looks after the emotional well-being of those under her care. Of course, no school experience is complete without a field trip to the museums. The MDR team is given a tour of the museums in the perpetuity wing of the Lumen Industries, giving us some intriguing glimpse about this uncanny company. Nobody looks forwards to it more than Irving.
Chinese finger traps seems to be featured prominently in the series.
And the finger traps that you see displayed here.
The Chinese finger traps is a metaphor that the more you struggle with something, the harder it grips.
When you relax, you will be free of the trap.
There are two possibilities on how to interpret this metaphor for this series. First, when the Auktis try to avoid their pains by under the severance procedure, they essentially enter into a trap like sticking your fingers into the Chinese finger trap.
Second, it's Lumen Industries' way of saying relax, don't fight us.
Just let us take control over your lives, and then you will be free. As we can see, Harmony Coble has no problem untangles herself from the finger trap. I guess she's in total control of it. While I said that series has a 1980s vibe, I'm not saying the series is set in that period.
As early as episode 1, there's a scene of Mark talking on a smartphone, which suggests the story sets in the present time. I think the reason for the 80s period setting is twofold. First, to produce a time disorientation that somewhat parallels the confusions of the lives of the Ini and Aukti. Second, cultural references from that period were introduced to us. I have mentioned some of them in this video.
When watching this series, I cannot help but to be reminded of The Matrix, another dystopian science fiction flick where protagonists navigating two versions of mental realities exist in one body. Unlike The Matrix, our protagonists are willingly having these alternate realities imposed on themselves in order to forget the pain from 9 to 5.
Perhaps it's a social commentary of our times that we're readily giving away our privacies in exchange for something else.
In this case, temporary pain relief. Remember this character Cypher in Matrix?
After awakening from the Matrix, Cypher didn't like what he sees
and asks to be put back into the Matrix and exists in an illusion because illusion is more comfortable.
Ignorance is bliss indeed.
When the true reality is too much to bear, we resort to escape to the fake reality or delusion such as the Matrix.
Unlike the Matrix hero played by Keanu Reeves, our heroes swallow the proverbial blue pill, or in this case, their brains swallow a microchip.
When our Ennis find out that the lives of the Auktis aren't as pain-free as they thought, that is when the revolt takes place in Season 2, which I am waiting eagerly until 2025.
Severance is certainly far more sophisticated than the Matrix, but then the Matrix is more than 2 decades old, and Severance is in a way built on the Matrix, consciously or otherwise.
The Matrix was in turn built on something older, much older, like the idea of Zhuangzi's butterfly dream from ancient China, where he questioned if reality and illusion can be so easily tell apart.
Both of these dystopian sci-fi is about two realities where one is messy, but authentic, and the other is artificial, controlled by an overlord from above. But there's where the similarities end. But Severance isn't the Matrix. They both stand on their own merits. As a punishment, I will repeat my apologies 800 times on a blackboard by comparing Severance with the Matrix. Please forgive me, you, O great Lord Egan, for I have sinned.
Kier, chosen one. Kier,